Hi everyone, my name is Ankur, and today we'll just basically having an informal interview. So I'll be interviewing today my very good friend Charu. So we were in IIT Delhi together. She was doing, she was studying biotechnology from 2009 to 2014,
Yeah.
and I was from 2008 to 2012. I was doing chemical engineering, so we had some overlap. And then we have been in touch since then regularly. So the idea behind these videos is to just give you sort of a feel about students who have cleared IIT JEE and how they studied and what was their experience while they were studying and preparing for IIT JEE. And we'll just also get to know them better and just know how their journey in IIT was and what did they like about the institute, so that you can also feel motivated to come to the institute. Okay, so I'll just start by asking Charu about like where she's from in India and how did she come to know about IITs, or why did she decide to prepare for IITs, and anything you want to say, Charu?
Hello, everyone. I'm Charu, as Ankur has already told you, and I belong from Sirsa in Haryana. Um, I decided to do engineering after I decided to prepare for JE after my 10th class because I really loved science, and I had few cousins in my family who were also IITians, and they really motivated me to try for JE. uh, and I the main thing that I loved even during JE preparation was the science and how it is done. I wasn't thinking more about what stream of engineering I wanted to go in or what other uh, things I can explore in science. So I just took JE and I got a rank that gave me an opportunity to enter IIT Delhi, and I joined the Department of Biochemical Engineering and Biotechnology at IIT Delhi. And I should say that I really loved being there, and the company of other fellow IITians really motivated me to pursue science even further. And Ankur was a very great part of that motivation because he has always been an extraordinary student. I always followed him in his steps to learn from him to be a really good student.
Okay, that's nice of you to say that. But basically, like, yeah, I wanted to ask you, like, just basically, what was one of the few things that you really loved about IIT? I mean, for instance, in my case, like you've already mentioned that there were so many nice people around us that we really used to love to interact. But was there anything specific to your course, or maybe you really like the professors, or maybe something other than academics that you really liked about IITs? I mean, this is just to so that the people who are watching it can get to know what generally happens
Right,
during we are in IIT.
right. Well, as I mentioned, I love the company of
Mhm.
being around so many intelligent people, and of course the professors were also brilliant. Specifically for my department, I would say that there was a mix of people. So, but there were enough encouraging people to help you guide through the courses and keep you motivated. So people were definitely a big part of it. Other than that, I think the culture of JE is all culture of IITs is very good for promoting every kind of activity. So apart from academics, there are lots of extracurricular activities which you can participate in, which also make you more of a all-rounded person.
Right, right.
I definitely loved being in IT for all the 5 years that I was there.
Sure, sure. Okay, great. So, yeah, just so that everyone knows, probably you can also share what you're doing right now. So you graduated from 2000 from IIT Delhi in 2014,
Mm-hmm.
but now that you have already been somewhere else, so maybe you can tell them what you're currently
Yeah,
doing. Yeah.
sure. Yeah, so right now I'm at University of Wisconsin, Madison, and I'm pursuing a PhD in cellular and molecular biology. Right after my graduation, I came to Madison, and I am in my second year now. I'm currently studying role of a specific DNA sequence in red blood cell development, to
Yeah.
be specific.
Sure. So let me ask you like a little strange question because some people might not realize this and might be wondering about this is that during JEE,
Hmm.
uh, you read about physics, chemistry, and maths, and then you went on to pursue biotechnology, which also had, I believe, a emphasis on biological component also in the
Right.
course, and now your PhD is in biology. So, do you think that your JEE preparation and your training in IIT helps you even now? Like when you're doing research, did that help you develop any sort of rational way of thinking or attacking a problem in a very
Problem.
rational and logical way? Yeah.
Right, right. Yeah, so even when you're preparing for JEE between different subjects, you see that the way of scientific thinking is essentially based on logic and rational thinking, as you mentioned, and that is something you can apply in every field of science or in fact life. So
Yeah.
yeah, definitely it has helped me to be a good scientist in even in biology. So yeah, I did not have a very strong background in biology because even in
Mhm.
IIT, the biochemical engineering and biotechnology courses are taught from a point of view of engineering, so more mathematically organized, oriented. But here
Right.
I have to basically study everything from the perspective of biological uh, perspective. But it definitely, the basic premises are the same based on logic and rational thinking. So it has definitely helped me to uh, take that information in a good way.
Sure. Okay, so now let us go to the main topic, which is basically the joint entrance examination preparation. So we hope that people who are watching are currently preparing, they are probably preparing for JEE, and we want to basically help them understand what were the challenges people face and what are the challenges you faced as a student, and then what were your motivation to prepare and how did you overcome these challenges. So maybe you can just share like few things about your JEE preparation,
Mhm.
like what were the things that you any challenges you faced or anything that you want to share about the JEE preparation, and then maybe we can go on some specific
Okay.
things. Yeah.
Yeah, so I moved to Delhi to join Vidya Mandir classes uh, because it was one of the best institutes for JEE coaching.
Mhm.
Um, I was very overwhelmed with again with because they were all everybody around in Vidya Mandir was really good.
Mhm.
Uh, it definitely takes a lot of hard work to prepare for JEE. You have to it's a case of self motivation, especially at least specifically for Vidya Mandir classes. I can say it is a case of self motivation. There are other coaching institutes where you have to uh, submit a homework every day. So it depends on the place and the kind of preparation you are doing. Um, so yeah, I think the most important thing for JEE preparation is to keep yourself motivated and have a single minded focus on one thing and to not get distracted by because that is a time of life where you are getting interested in a lot of things. You may want to explore a lot of things, which is not bad, but if you want to crack JEE, it takes a lot of effort. It takes 2 years of continuous focus on one thing. Of course you can relax,
Yeah.
but yeah, so I think that's the most important thing I would say for
Okay, so staying
JEE.
focused is something you feel which is very important.
Yeah.
Okay, and so let's like go into more specific things about subjects. So did you love one subject more than other? And if yes, then how did you motivate yourself to also spend time on other subjects? Because I know that some students tend to like just start because they like some subjects, so they just start spending too much time there.
Right, right.
But sometimes it's
Yeah.
better. Yeah.
um Yeah, I think I of all of physics, chemistry, and mathematics, I loved physics the most, and I did spend,
Okay.
as you said, I did spend most of my time
That's
studying physics, and
that's
I
good to
did
hear.
suffer in mathematics and chemistry in the beginning.
Mhm.
And um, so hopefully, if you are being guided by teachers, you will be in touch with them on how you're spending time on different subjects, and same was the case for Vidyam and their students also. So we had this time sheet where we had to fill in our hours spent on studying each subject, which was then reviewed by our teachers, which helped us a lot in gaining perspective on, because sometimes even though you're enjoying physics a lot, and like I was enjoying physics and I was thinking that it's okay to for me to spend more time on physics and chemistry than chemistry and mathematics, but you lag behind in other subjects, and until you give a test or you like actually take a test for yourself whether you're actually doing fine, you won't realize that you're actually suffering. So I think that helped me a lot to balance my time between other subjects and physics. um,
So this
and
was like this is an important point that basically the you kept a log of how much time you're spending. I mean,
yeah,
roughly, I guess, not
that was one
even
of
if
the
not
most
yeah,
important exercises that we
anything.
had to do during the JE preparation time, to keep a log of time spent even doing other things. How, like, even
Right.
if you're not able to study 10 hours a day, at least you know how many hours you're putting in and on what subject, so you know what
Right.
next to do.
Yeah, so this is a good tip for somebody who's preparing for JEE, that you should sort of keep a log of what you're doing so that you know how you're dividing time. And if there is something specific where you're actually wasting more time, for instance, if you're watching TV or spending too much time on internet or something like that. So it's this is a very useful tip.
And I would also
Something.
suggest to like not have a continuous connection. Even I'm
Right,
not sure
right.
about like these times, because when I was preparing, I did not have a smartphone. I did not have connection to internet. So like the only time I could get internet was when I had to make a special effort to go there or something. I'm not sure if it's easy to do, but if you can do it, it would help you a lot to stay away from a lot of useless distractions.
Yeah, so I mean, definitely, like if there is a need that is different, but just don't do it too much.
Yeah.
And again, keeping log, if you realize that you are keeping log, then you will realize.
Right.
So I always quote that I became addicted to internet during my 11th standard, where I was spending sometimes 6 hours a day on computer, and I realized that after some period of time that it was definitely affecting my studies. So then I just stopped that, and then I basically only continued it after I cleared IIT JEE. And even now, I feel like we all spend so much time on internet because you do get more free time. And I think the more important thing is that 11th and 12th standard is a phase when you're growing up, so
Mm-hmm.
it's harder for students to prioritize, and that is
Yeah.
why it's more logical to be a little away from internet. There is definitely a more increased need to be on internet these days,
Yeah.
but even then you should not do it for like just having fun all the time. So just stay away from distractions, because that can really help you have more time for preparation,
Yeah.
because a lot
And
of time students
relax
are
in other
complaining.
ways, because I think
Yeah,
like staying on internet does not really make you relaxed. It can
relax,
make you
relax.
even more stressed sometimes by
Right,
going on Facebook, looking at other things. So
right.
do something that you really love. If you like music, hear good music. Those are the ways of relaxation which are good. And it's like J is not like a sprint, it's like a marathon, so you don't have to burn out. You don't have to study 18 hours every day in for 2 months, and then you might feel really exhausted by the end of 2 months. It's You have to prepare continuously for 2 years. So keep a balance between your studying and relaxation times, and that's why keeping a log is really wonderful. It's a good way to make sure that you're not on either extreme of the scale.
Sure. Great. Yeah, great. Yeah, so let us now probably like switch gears and talk more about the 2 years, like you kept mentioning. So, was there a particular time where it was more difficult? Like, for instance, personally for me, I remember like the end of JEE preparation was a little more difficult when I was more burnt out and I was not putting in that much effort, and then I had to motivate myself and bring things together. So was there any times similar time for you, maybe the starting or something in middle, where you felt a little more difficult, or was it generally fine overall? Or if there was, then how did you use to motivate yourself to like start
Hmm.
studying? Because it can have that you can have phases where you are really demotivated to not do anything, and you just sort of lose interest in studying?
Mhm. Yeah, so specifically for my case, and it can differ for everybody because everybody is different.
Yeah.
When I started preparing for JEE, I wasn't very serious. I mean, I was not putting in as much effort as was expected. So the very first test I took at Vidya Mandir, which they're like monthly tests for each subject, I got a very low score, I would say. And that made me realize that, oh, this is not how it is supposed to be done. And I have to actually follow everything that my teachers are saying. Because, like, even if they're saying, sit for 3 hours and finish this, I would change that according to my own comfort and do it as I wanted. And I realized that even every little thing that they said was really, really important. And then I started doing it. And this is one of, like, again, like, after the logging time logs, this is the next most important thing that I learned during my JEE preparation, that you have to train your mind to uh, take exam and uh, build the temperament for keep the temperament for 6 hours. And you cannot do it in one day. You cannot. It's not like you have an exam next day and today you can just practice for 6 hours and you
Yeah.
will be fine. You have to make that habit. It's like muscle memory.
Yeah.
So, and this is what our teachers kept telling us, and I am sure Ankur would also agree.
Yeah.
So that was one of the most important lessons that I learned after my first test. After that, I started catching up with, again, like, I started logging my time for physics, chemistry, and maths. Started balancing with chemistry and maths more, and taking
Yeah.
3 hour sessions to study to build that temperament.
Yeah, I think it's an important point of like making sure that you are studying regularly for 3 hours or so,
Mhm. Yeah, it can be
because
difficult in the beginning. For me, definitely it was.
difficult.
I
Yeah.
started with 2 hours and then I would get really tired, and then I moved it to 2 hours and 15 minutes, and then slowly but I reached there. And it definitely made a difference in my performance in next
Yeah.
test.
Yeah, yeah, that's very, yeah, I mean, because I remember that starting, when I was not in habit of reading so much, then I would do much better, like initially, like in initial time, when, for instance, when the exam is starting,
Hmm.
you would like be able to
Do
uh,
more,
do
yeah.
more. Yeah, your mind will be more focused.
Yeah.
So when you're solving problems, you are more fresh.
Yeah.
But then if you're not in the habit, you will actually get tired and you will start
Yeah,
making
because you're
mistakes. Or if you're
solving
not,
like 60 very difficult problems
yeah.
continuously. So you will get tired unless you are used to doing that.
Yeah, so that seems to like, so for people who are listening, if you have a test series, that's very good. If you're not, then you should try to have mock test series.
Yeah.
Basically, have something at home, which then forces you to study for 3 hours, and then also bring 3 hour sessions in your daily preparation, so that you can get used to the feeling of sitting for 3 hours and doing problems. Uh, Okay, great. So yeah, I mean, now about relaxation. Do you have any tips or something that you used to do, maybe, to
I used
relax?
to listen to music because that was the only thing I had
Okay,
access to.
okay.
But yeah, I mean,
Uh,
if you have any hobbies, something you like to do, going for walks. I used to go for a lot of walks.
Walks. Okay.
Yeah, that really helps you cool down and do some activity that you like. That can take your mind off the problems, because these problems are very addictive. Sometimes you can not stop thinking about them.
Yeah.
I remember that time. So yeah, I mean, it's very important to relax. Do not burn out. Do not worry. If you're preparing fine every day, like if you're satisfied with your day by day preparation, you will definitely do very well in JEE. It's not very, very hard. It's just something that needs a constant attention.
Sure.
So yeah, there's no need for studying for 18 hours a day. I think there's no,
Yeah.
like,
I mean,
yeah,
that's not possible for people to like continue that. They'll either burn out or they'll become very stressed, or it's not. We will not advise at least studying too much. Like, you should always keep a balance. So like we always suggest you should always sleep well.
yeah,
I'm sure
yeah,
Charu
yeah,
used to sleep well too. So sleeping well is important. I mean, depends on how
yeah.
much. Again, there is no single number, but like if you should not feel tired while during the day. and taking out time for listening to music or going for a walk, or if you play some music instrument, if you really like some sports, as long as you're not hurting yourself too much, I mean, that's also fine. To reduce mental activity. And so yeah, I mean, you should have some hobby, and then some relaxation by sleeping and things like that. Okay, anything else that you would like to share? Maybe something you wish you had done, or maybe the big picture that while we are preparing, we tend to lose the big picture and start worrying too much about J. Something
Yeah,
that,
in the end, it doesn't. If as long as you're a good student, you if you love science, however your J goes, you will do well, really well in life. Like I have a lot of my friends here who are some of them are from different colleges, some of them are from IITs too, and we all study together even now. And if they have like it's all well. So I think what matters is what you like studying and what you would you pursue it even if there was no IIT. So that's the most important thing.
yeah. So I mean, things will be fine. It doesn't matter too much to like. Don't be too serious about it. Just keep studying on a regular basis, and it's an important exam. But again, like Charu said, that you will be fine anyway. So that sort of takes the burden off from your shoulders of like, oh, this is the most important thing in my life. I mean, you will have enough chances to show that you are good enough. And something that Charu said, which I feel is very, very important, is the fact that you should love what you are doing. Make a genuine interest in one of the subjects, or one topic of a subject or something like that, because that really makes you really enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah, and that is very important. Like what you will remember after 2 years is not, I mean, it depends on from person to person, but I really miss the time that I was preparing for JEE because I really loved spending time with science problems and solving them. I do not remember uh, just like running after scores or getting more, you
Right,
know,
right.
yeah, marks. I
Yeah,
do
so I
not
mean,
remember any of that.
very nice. Yeah, you made a very nice point that when we look back, we always remember, oh, physics chapter, this chapter of physics or this chapter of
Yeah,
math.
yeah, that's
We
the
don't
most.
remember, oh, our scores, right? I mean, that's just a small part of the preparation. So it's more important to remember the topics and really like them. And actually, like, some of the basics stay with you for like your life, if you're in the same field, then actually you actually do use them. So I keep using my things which I've learned in J even now, even on
Mm.
day-to-day basis. So it's important to love what you're doing. So I mean, otherwise it's very hard to spend so much time for 2 years. So make a genuine interest. Don't worry too much about like, okay, just have like this sort of a disciplined or whatever way of reading so that you can make it an enjoyable experience. Okay, so that was basically, I guess, probably what all I wanted to say. If you have anything you want to add, if you have in mind for the people who are watching it.
Yeah, I mean, 2 years is a long time. Enjoy your uh, preparation time, enjoy your relaxation time as well, and do not worry too much and keep a balance. Try to keep a balance between studying and if you're satisfied, I would say that by the end of my preparation before taking the exam, I was satisfied with my preparation and I was not worried about what the results would be. I mean, of course, I was worried, but I wasn't it did not matter as much. It was not like a life or death question. So I was really happy with my preparation by the end, and that should be the goal, not just like getting a rank XXX or whatever.
Sure. Great. So great. So it was nice to speak to you, and thanks for the interview. And we
Thank
hope
you.
that it will be useful for everyone, right?
Hopefully, yeah.
Okay, so everyone, best of luck, everyone
All the
who have
best.
seen this video.
Enjoy
All the
your
best. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye bye.